Aloha and mahalo as we look at OKO Arm Lock number 11. This one reintroduces many of the concepts that we've seen before, but now in a different way. Once again, this is going to be an attack from 12 o'clock in our green zone. It's going to be an opponent's right leg forward, right punch. With my foot in pre-position number 2, left leg slightly forward. As he comes, I want to create distance. I want to control the distance. So my right foot is going to step slightly back to give me time to respond. I'm going to left inward, what's called brush block or parry, and then a right outward brush block or parry. Now this can be described two different ways. We can look at this as what we would call a double factor motion. As the punch comes in, I'm going to deviate the line with the left inward, and the right hand, the right outward, coming down to the grab could be considered a 1-2 type of motion, what we call a double factor, 1 and 2. Or it could be what we call a double tap. We see this in some Filipino martial arts as well as some Asian martial arts, is where when I step back, it's not just going to be a 1 and 2, it's going to be a 1-2. If I put the stick down, double factor is 1 and then 2, continuing the rotation. A double tap is going to be 1-2. It's going to be much like a dolphin tail with both hands, rather than a nice painting a picture or wax on, wax off from Karate Kid, 1-2 grab. Either way you do this, the result is the same. If you want to put pain into it, I would suggest the double tap. It becomes a strike rather than a parry. And at that point, if it is a strike, as I step back, this is the palm slap is going to go towards the wrist. And the right hand is either going to go to the radial nerve head, right below the elbow, or going to the elbow joint itself. So from the front, with the double tap, right foot steps back, bam! I'm going to slide down, contouring, grabbing his wrist. Notice my shoulders rotate as I do so, allowing me to contour and to close off a secondary target for his other hand. I grab the wrist, and I'm going to, as he comes forward, as I grab the wrist, notice my arm is going off the line from 12 o'clock now towards 10:30 in my direction. For us, the responder is going to be going from our 6 to 4:30. As he comes in, I'll do it with a double factor. 1-2, rotate, grab. My left hand is going to come up and snake underneath the arm, grabbing mine. Once again, if I grab this stick, and this is his arm, it started on this line. My double tap brings it off the line. 1, 2. Now I'm going to grab the wrist with my right hand. And as I do so, as I rotate, notice my left hand is already here. I'm at about his elbow. I'm going to snake underneath and then to grab. You'll notice now I have 3 points of contact. I'm going to continue to control him here. Notice I have control of his wrist with my hand. And all I have to do is step back with my left foot and step through reverse, or I can use an in-place stance change. My right foot meets my left foot steps back, and as I rotate counterclockwise to hit him with the planet. Once again, a lot of familiar ideas here in Arm Lock number 11, and let's just dive right into the lessons, concepts, and principles. So we have the double factor or the double tap as presented. Now, if I were to do double tap in a street scenario, instead of crossing my arms this way, instead of my left arm coming across my body and crossing over my right hand, I would do a double tap to where neither arm is blocking. It is going to be 2 dolphin tails at the same time, allowing me to immediately rotate my hand to control the wrist. Once again, as we look at that on a stick, here's the line of the attack. In a double factor, the left hand touches, brings across, then the right hand comes up. Notice me crossing my arms and then rotating. In a double tap, as it comes in, I'm going to strike with my right and strike with my left at the same time. Notice my arms aren't crossing each other, allowing me immediately to grab the wrist. I'm going to strike and grab. Versus in the double factor, I have to contour and then rotate to grab. Once again from the side. Contour to rotate to grab. Either way can work in a street situation. We all have our preferences. We have snaking. Once again, once I have control of his wrist, I'm going to snake up and underneath the arm to give control. We have 3 points of contact. My wrist, my arm, and my armpit to control my opponent. This also introduces a 6-point lock in his from his wrist, elbow, shoulder, into his body. We're going to hit him with the planet, as we like to do, and we can use either a combination or separate foot maneuvers to affect the takedown. What do I mean by this? We've talked about before, as we are previously here, our left foot is going to be a little bit forward, and I can do what's called a step to reverse. My left foot can just step behind to create room for us to take him down, or I can do an in-place stance change, where my right foot meets the left, and then the left foot steps back. Depends on the height disparity between me and my opponent, or vice versa, whether I'm going to use a step to reverse or an in-place stance change. It is really situation dependent. Well, as we've looked at the lessons, concepts, and principles in OKO Wrist Lock number 11, aloha, mahalo, and live pono.